Isn't that a pretty shot? Welcome back to the Willis Report, live from our nation's capital. Now that the Obamacare exchanges are open for business, what will the future hold for the law? And what does it mean for your doctor? I spoke with Republican Congressman Michael Burgess of Texas, who's also a medical doctor, to get his thoughts on this and more.
Well, some of it was predictable because the way the law was written, the way the law was drafted, it was full of errors. It was supposed to go to a conference committee and get all it straightened out. They didn't do it. As a consequence, we're dealing with the problems that were inherent in the law as written. And, you know, you look at it today, my home state of Texas, the exchanges are supposed to be up and working. They haven't been. I've tried to go on several times, and you get bumped off after you fill in all the information. That's got to be frustrating for people. I know they can get, that's a computer glitch, they can get that worked out, but it's just emblematic. They've had so much time and so much money to get this thing up and working, and it's not working. It's
been 2.5 years. We are having a lot of software glitches today. But at the end of the day, what you really want to see is Obamacare repealed. Is that because you think we can't afford it? Is this the kind of person that could deep six the economy?
Well, the affordability is a crucial item, and people, one of the reasons I've been anxious to get on the exchanges and look at what does the bronze plan cost? What is the lowest entry point going to cost my constituents back home? I'll bet it's going to be a lot more than it was this time last year. Next year, that price point will be significantly escalated. So, yeah, the fiscal pressure on the country generated by this law is really going to be, it's going to be something that's incredible.
What about the other side of the equation? The care, the kind of services that people are going to get. We've already got a shortage of physicians. Is that only going to get worse?
Well, the shortage of physicians was unfortunately not addressed. If you're going to perform health care in this country from soup to nuts, seems like you would want to do something on the provider end. Absolutely unaddressed in the Affordable Care Act.
So we've got a problem there. What about, you know, the kind of care that most people will get on these from insurance on these exchanges?
Well, it'll be different, and there will be a learning curve. I'm not sure if people will accept it or not. Perhaps they will. I think the price is going to be what's more unacceptable, but the care will suffer also, and people will see that, they'll feel that. It won't be what they've been used to. The visit to their doctor won't be the same as what it's been in the past.
Well, I think people are going to have a lot of transition to go through, obviously. What's next steps for you and others who oppose this law? The president today, when he was speaking, he said, this is the law of the land. It's been settled. You've got to move on. Are you ready to move on?
Well, interestingly, the president likes to say the Affordable Care Act is the law of the land, and then he complains about the sequester that he signed. It was his idea. That's the law of the land, too. But, you know, I've got a lot of constituents at home that tell me, look, stop trying to modify this. There's no way you can save it. Let the cookie crumble, and when people realize how bad it is, they'll be clamoring for its repeal about a year from now, about a few months before Election Day in 2014.
But what is the one thing that's really going to set people off, do you think? What is the thing that's going to make people stand up and say, got to get rid of this, it's not working?
I think the most immediate thing will be the price. I think when people see the price of the lowest tier of insurance, the bronze plan, which is a 60% actuarial value, they're still going to pay a lot for their medical care after they paid a lot for their insurance. I think that's where the break point is.
Well, you know, the premiums are one thing, but the out-of-pocket costs are another, and that's what seems to me to be the open question at this point. We're still trying to figure that out. That seems to be high.
It's high, and then remember that limit on out-of-pocket expenses was suspended for a year by the president himself. Not by House Republicans, not by House Conservatives, but by the president.
Well, we got a long way to go. What's your prediction? Does Obamacare remain the law of the land? Is it settled, or will we get rid of this?
Well, it cannot, you know, again, it's not workable the way it was drafted, so something will have to change, and I'm not sure where those parameters are. My feeling is when people see how bad it is, there'll be a pretty significant clamor to get rid of it.
And as we go forward, I know, you know, lots of debate over the debt ceiling. You're also thinking about that. What is the next steps for that?
Well, the debt ceiling, actually, that discussion cannot start until we finish where we are today. And so we'll have to do this one step at a time. You know, there's actually a precedent, though, for repealing a health care law back in '88. Dan Rostenkowski got so beat up when he went home after he passed his catastrophic health care bill, his constituents, Democrats in Chicago, demanded he remove it, and he did a year later. President Reagan has signed it into law. President Bush repealed it, but there is a precedent for you.
So it's happened before. It could happen again. Congressman, thank you. It's always so good to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
Interesting stuff. Well, Congressman Burgess also said another reason the mandate won't work, look at the number of people who fail to file their income taxes every year. That rate sometimes in the mid-teens. When we come back, it's not just people without